Yo, 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 it's Yoel. So, in every like Orthodox community, you can go in a synagogue and you'll be bombarded by like 10 to 15, even more, 20, 30 guys coming and collecting. While you're praying, you're doing like a 45-minute shnurers morning prayer. Guaranteed anywhere from like 10 to 15, but like it could be even 50, depending on the synagogue and its location. These guys will come through, sometimes in groups, sometimes one at a time, and they will come asking for charity from every single person praying there. In the middle of their prayer, they'll come up to the guy while he's praying and stick out their hand like, you know, expecting money. But where do these guys come from? Most of them, they're not from the United States. They come from Israel. They probably don't even speak English. They have a paper explaining why they're there and what they're collecting for, and it's signed by some rabbi or some organization. Has a picture of them. And these guys fly in from Israel, you know, maybe once a year, maybe more often as is needed. Usually collecting for themselves, but sometimes on behalf of an organization. So how are they paying for the flight? They're paying for the flight. They borrow money for the flight, and they use the money they collect to pay it back, or they have from the last trip. But they're paying for their flight with the money that you pay for them. They get hosted for free usually in each community they go to. There's usually a place where they can stay for free, so they don't need to book a hotel. They usually can eat for free at local Jewish kosher restaurants, so they don't need to pay for food. And this is how they live. They come a few times a year to America. Their entire trip is paid for by you, the Jewish person who gives them the charity. And they're living a chill-free life. And somehow you tell me that's not a scam. That's not a scam. What else is if they're collecting for an organization, even if they're calling you, anyone who's collecting for Jewish organizations, they're taking 49% of the money you give them. So if you donate $1,000 to some organization, believing that $1,000 of your money is going to that cause, you have to remember $499 or $490, right? $490 is going to the guy on the phone that you gave your credit card to. $510 is going to the organization that you thought you're giving $1,000 to. They only get $510. How's that not a scam? How's that not a scam? Oh, Yoel wants cigarettes and Yoel wants a beer and 2 cigarettes. That's a scam. You're not allowed to give your charity money to Yoel. Blah, blah, blah. But these guys taking a vacation as often as they want, however many times a year they want. You're paying for their flights. They don't have to pay for their food or hotel. They don't have to pay for nothing. And they live as large as they want. I'm saying it's very common. It's very common. You can see guys living in Jerusalem, an apartment, a car, everything they need. The guy doesn't work. He travels as often as he wants. He goes to America for free. You're paying for his flight. You're paying for his flight. And all these organizations, you think you're giving them money, 49% is going to some guy who's also living large. What's his business? He doesn't work. He calls people all day telling them, I'm collecting for this charity, collecting for this charity, collecting for this charity. Every penny he gets, 49%. Of every dollar, every penny you give, he's taking 49%. That somehow is not a scam, but I'm a scam for asking for help for what to me is medicine. Yeah, ideally I would be collecting charity money for ketamine, okay? But people don't like to pay for illicit things. Maybe when I get to America and I get my prescription back, I'll have people paying for my ketamine with their charity money. But for right now, if my medicine is cigarettes and beer, and that can hold me through and keep my brain in peace, then that's what I need. If I tell you that's what I need, then that's what I need, and that's your charity. Okay? There's a lot more scams to talk about, actual charity scams that the Jews are involved with, unknowingly, on the part of the giver. I'm just saying, it's a little fucked up that people don't want to give me their charity, but they give their charity to everyone else who actually is scamming them.